This is W7, and Israel has struck Iran. Iran, in return, has sent drones at Israel. In Israel, saying that this is just getting started. This is the beginning of an operation in which, thus far, Israel has struck one of the main nuclear enrichment facilities ran by Iran. They also hit some places in western Iran. And Iran is saying that they're preparing for a harsh response. A lot of people in the area know that this is going to be something that can escalate. And in the media, it seemed they were trying to act like Trump was pushing for peace. But it was known the whole time. He said on his own social media 60 days ago that he gave him an ultimatum. And so he let it out of the bag today and said that 2 months ago, he gave Iran a 60-day ultimatum to make a deal. They should have done it. Today is day 61. So they knew fully, but we're trying to play the public, obviously, that, act like he didn't know what was going on. That's ridiculous. This whole thing has been plotted out. The world is a stage. And the big question is will China get involved? Will Russia get involved? Will this expand further? Because Israel is sending U.S. equipment from Israel down to Ukraine against Russia. And you have on the other side of the coin, China, which is allied with Pakistan and also Iran and Russia. And they have a lot to lose if Iran goes down. They have a lot of deals in place. They're a big time supporter of each other. This is something that's been years in the making. The talks of Israel striking Iran. You can see here the one nuclear facility, the enrichment complex that they hit and that they took out. And you can see here a series of explosions. In the distance and off of here, you can see all kinds of explosions popping off at these locations that they struck. Again, Israel saying they're just getting started. Iran vowing a severe response. And again, I think it puts us out there squarely because everybody knows the United States is backing Israel, backing Ukraine, and everything against the other side at this point. So join me on my live streams where I go into this in greater detail Monday.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it right there. You see what's going on. It's from W7 and fair use. I'm just using this for educational purposes only. All right, I'm not making any money off of this. So before we get any further, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory unto YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, bahasham, Racha Quadash. A double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of YAHAWAH, bahasham YAHAWASHI. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the elect out there, wherever you might be. Shalom to 144,000. It's the brother Amawan Padah for the GMS Denver camp, doing news and prophecy, man. Because as you know, you've seen it already, more than likely, that this whole tension with Israel and Iran and the United States has been heightened. All right, Israel has just recently attacked Iran. All right, and things are escalating, man. And it's all a part of prophecy because this damn devil's getting ready to be taken out of power. It's going to end in nuclear war, just in case you were wondering. All right, we know this through the scriptures, but without further ado, let's get a quick precept. And here we have that famous scripture right here. All right, Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord YAHAWAH, bahasham YAHAWASHI, that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely, all right, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. This is talking about those 1948ers, the state of Israel, those imposters over there, drawing these other nations into World War III. All right, and that's what's going on. All right, as you know, the United States backs Israel, and Israel's over there carrying out attacks on Iran. But guess what? Who backs Iran? Russia. All right, that's one of the biggest allies, and also the biggest enemies of the U.S. So everything is working out perfectly, man. The least of the flock, all right, being those 1948ers, is drawing out these other superpowers into World War III as prophesied. The Lord's word is being carried out, man. We have the true book of prophecy. Okay, let's go to the next verse real quick. All right, verse 21, it says, the earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. All right. So when those nuclear missiles began to be shot off, which is going to eventually happen, it says the earth is going to be moved at the noise of the fall of Esau, man. Because Esau is going to be taken out by way of thermonuclear fire, man. I'm telling you before it happens. This will escalate to the point of nukes being launched. We understand that America, Babylon the Great is going to be completely destroyed. There will be nobody living here in the land of America. All right, once this is all said and done with. And this is what we're edging closer and closer to. All right. We also understand that the state of Israel, that land over there, is going to be hit with nuclear missiles as well to cleanse the land of all that abomination that's been carried out over there. All right. He's going to burn them gutter rats out of our land. We're going to come back and, build it up. We're going to use our heathen, all right, to build up that land once again. All right. And that's what this is all leading towards, man. The Lord is going to bring the kingdom, man. And that can't happen until Esau is taken out. And he's going to be taken out in World War III. So we're excited about these things happening, man. All right. Also understand that, there's going to be a draft more than likely. All right. When things heat up, they're going to, call for men to be conscripted into the army, to the military. So a lot of you thugs, you gangsters out here, bullies, you very well could be called into the army, man. You could be drafted and sent over there to the Middle East to get fucking destroyed. All right, let's get a quick precept. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 33. It says, the virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Why? Because there's going to be few men left. Like I said, a lot of them are going to get drafted, to the military when this thing really begins to heat up. All right. Going to bring the draft back. Conscription. Now, verse 34, it says, in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. There it is, man. As it is written. It's playing out right now. We're in the beginning stages of this getting ready to take place. Because this thing will heat up. And a lot of you men that, sign up to be in the military, just understand that you're going to meet your demise right over there in the Middle East. In the valley of YAHAWASHI. That's the valley of the Lord's judgment. Let's get there real quick. But a lot of men are getting ready to die here, man, in World War III, the War of Armageddon. This also reminds me of what Isaiah 4 and verse 1. All right, there's going to be a lot of widows, man. There's going to be a lot of women without husbands. All right. And a lot of those women, that are of the elect anyway. All right. They're going to be joined to a man of the Lord, man, if the Lord has chosen them for salvation. Because once their husband is out of here, they're free to go. All right. She has not committed adultery. But anyway, let's get another precept on this matter. Oh, real quick before I move on. You women out there, all right, your husbands that are in the military, all right, if you're not of the elect, they're going to die out there. And then you're going to be out here by yourself, man. All right. Because the Lord is not going to pair, a 2/3 wicked ass woman up with a elect man of YAHAWASHI. You're going to be left out here to be dealt with by these crazies out here, man. You're not going to have any protection. A lot of y'all said that you don't need a man. A lot of y'all, have talked shit about the Israelite man. They're going to see how much you really need him in these days that are coming ahead of us, man. All right. It's about to get ugly. The Lord is bringing a closing to this shit, man. All right, I got to bring out this Joel 3. We'll start at verse 1. All right. This is the prophecy that we're heading into. It says, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, meaning the Lord's going to turn back our captivity. We're getting ready to be released from captivity, man, from oppression, because we're entering into the kingdom, all right, upon the return of our Lord YAHAWASHI, all right? And he's going to return in the midst of this war. Now, verse 2, it says, I will also gather all nations, all right, world war, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, or in the Hebrew, it's pronounced YAHAWASHI, meaning the Lord's judgment, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Now, the Israel that's being talked about right here, it's talking about the true Israelites, man, not those imposters. The Lord is finna judge these different nations for what they've done unto his chosen people. All right, the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and you Israelite foreigners out there, man. All right, the seed of Jacob, the true seed of Jacob. These nations are getting ready to pay, especially, you know, these Edomites, so-called white race. Now, verse 3, it says, and they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. They've done that to us, man. They've sold our children into slavery, you know, traded them, you know, like bargaining chips and whatnot. They finna pay for all that, man. Verse 4, yeah, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? All right, so ain't nobody gonna be able to do nothing about the Lord's judgment. You can't recompense the Lord. You know, verse 5, because ye have taken my silver and my gold and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. Now this talks about, you know, how these heathen in times past have taken our goodly things out of our temple. All right, there's been many accounts where you know, these heathen have sacked the temple and taken our you know, our gold menorahs and, you know, vessels of the temple. All right, you got Nebuchadnezzar. You know, the Babylonians have done this. All right, but Esau has literally taken the Lord's silver and gold by taking his people, the Israelites. All right, he has us to this day in captivity, man. So they finna pay for that. Verse 6, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, you see, that ye might remove them far from their border. And them Hamites of Tyre and Zidon, they gonna pay. All right, those dude eating Africans today, they're gonna pay for what they've done to us in times past. All right, sold us to the enemies, the Grecians being the Edomites in this case. All right, they finna pay for all that, man. Verse 7, behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. All right, and the Lord is literally going to raise us up out of the land of our captivity, man. The main deliverance is going to be here in America, Babylon, and Greece. We're going to be taken up into the chariot, and that's, you know, really referring to the so-called UFO that YAHAWASHI is going to return in, who they ignorantly called Jesus. The man who you ignorantly called Jesus, who was a so-called black man, all right, of the tribe of Judah, the savior of Israel, is going to return in the midst of World War III. All right, and before those nukes completely demolish this place, we're going to be taken up, you know, to safety. Matter of fact, let's get a precept on that real quick. Here it is right here. Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 20. Come, my people, right, the elect of the nation of Israel. Enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. What is this talking about? This is a dark saying. If you don't have the eyes to see or ears to hear, you won't understand this saying right here, this verse. It's talking about the elect, the chosen, that are predestined for salvation, are going to be called up into the upper atmosphere to be joined to the Lord, man, YAHAWASHI. All right, to be whisked away from the nuclear destruction is getting ready to obliterate this place. We cannot be on the earth, all right, when this is going down. It says the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, man. It's going to be all kind of floods and tidal waves. The ocean's going to be moved. All right, Leviathan, all right, that huge ocean creature is going to be active. And that's something that we don't go into, you know, a whole lot, but that's going to be a part of prophecy as well, man. There's a huge sea creature in the ocean that's going to get active, man, known as the Leviathan. And, you know, they made movies, you know, low key talking about it, you know, like Godzilla and stuff like that. It's going to be way worse than that. And you can think we're crazy all day, man, but watch, when it happens, you're going to People that don't know what we're talking about, they're going to lose their minds when these things actually come to pass. There's scriptures talking about a huge sea creature, man. And Esau has not discovered everything in that ocean. Understand that. I believe they said they only discovered maybe 5% of the ocean, if that. You gotta understand, this world is very huge, man. This earth is huge. All right? There's creatures that people have not seen yet, man. That's spoken of in the scriptures. But anyway, the point is that that's a whole nother lesson right there. But the point is that we can't be on the earth when this goes down, man. So when things get nuclear, we're going to be looking for the Lord to return in with the host of heaven, to call us up, to be saved from the fire. All right, so this is Revelation chapter 11 and verse 12. Just to land back, off of that prophecy of the elect being called up, right? This is Revelation 11 and 12. It says, "And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them." Now, we got to break this down, man. This is another dark saying, all right? A parable. Okay, so we're going to be called up into the chariot, man, the cloud. That cloud is referring to a so-called UFO, the vehicles of the angels, man. That Esau has already been seeing. They've always been here, but now they're going to get even more active. They're going to come to destroy our enemies and also save the elect. And Lord willing, we're of that number. All right. All right. So the Lord's going to call us up into the cloud, aka the chariot, man. And the enemies of the elect are going to behold us, man, including the 2/3 of our own people who have rejected YAHAWASHI and his messengers and those that believe in him. They're going to be seeing us, ascending up off of the ground into a so-called UFO. We're going to be abducted, man. You got Esau making all these movies about Martians and shit, abducting people. Nah, man. All right. They got the scriptures and twisted them up. What's going to happen is the Lord's going to come back with the angels to call up the elect. It's right here in the Bible, man. We're not making this up. That's what this is talking about. Okay. And our enemy's going to be looking up like, damn, those are really the Lord's elect. Those are really the Lord's chosen. All right. And then be left here to be burned up, man, to receive of the second death.
The Middle East on edge after Israel launched a series of strikes on Iran's nuclear and missile sites. The attacks wiping out Tehran's chain of command in the process, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says this is only the beginning.
This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. The Jewish state refuses to be a victim of a nuclear holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal.
Welcome to the Big Money Show, everybody. I'm Jackie DeAngelis. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Taylor Riggs, Lydia Hu, and for Dagan McDowell, and Brian Bremberg. Joining us for the entire hour, Gary Kaltbaum Capital Management President. It's great to have you. Thank you for being here. We're watching oil prices today because they are surging on escalating tensions in the Middle East. You can see prices are up $4, $72.05.
And that is another result of the tension going on, man. You can expect higher oil prices, man, meaning higher gas prices. All right. And things that need, oil to, function. You know what I'm saying? There's many products that use oil, man. So, if this thing continues on, which it will, you can expect prices to go up as well. Gas prices. Okay. But let's play a little bit more of this.
That's about a 6% move on the session so far. Israel says it has started shooting down dozens of drones launched in retaliation by Iran. President Trump urging Iran to, quote, make a deal before there's nothing left, before meeting with his National Security Council. Fox Business White House correspondent Edward Lawrence joins us with the latest. Hi, Edward.
Hey, and Jackie, all this is creating that uncertainty, the uncertainty about the global oil supply, and that's affecting the markets and causing the oil prices to rise. The president is finishing up, we believe, that national security meeting in the Situation Room with his national security team. On True Social this morning, the president saying that those hardliners in Iran, they spoke bravely. They are all dead now, and it will only get worse. There has already been great death and destruction, but there is still time to make this slaughter, with the next already planned attacks being even more brutal, come to an end. Iran must make a deal before there is nothing left. So yesterday in the East Room, the president saying that he still wants to make a deal with Iran over its nuclear projects.
It's very simple, not complicated. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Other than that, I want them to be successful. I want them to be tremendous. We'll help them be successful. We'll trade with them. We'll do whatever is necessary.
So U.S. officials today say that they hope talks that were scheduled for Sunday.
All right, his words were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. All right, that's how Esau gets down, man. Acting like they want to have peace with Iran, and nah, man, hell nah. We know how these devils get down. Let's get a quick precept on that matter. All right. And really quick, here's that scripture that I mentioned. This is Psalms 55, verse 21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So these devils, man, they have a goal of completely, dominating the world, man. So they talk peaceably, but we know how they get down, man. These damn devils don't want no peace in Iran. All right. But one thing I want to make a point on is that Russia's going to step in eventually. Let's prove that. All right, so I had to bring this out. This is Ezekiel 38. I mentioned it earlier. All right, this is what's getting ready to happen. All right. And it says, and the word of the Lord YAHAWAH, bahasham YAHAWASHI, came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Now, this is talking about the modern day Russians. This is very prophetic. It's talking about Russia. All right. They're in the land of Gog, man. And that word Magog, it just means the land of Gog. All right. The people that are inhabiting that land over there are the Russians, who are Edomites, by the way. Now, it goes on to say, and say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. So, the Russians, man, they're like the big brother of all these other smaller nations over there in that region. All right. And they're going to be set for the defense of Iran and its allies, man. And Russia's allies. You know what I'm saying? You see, that's why he's the chief prince over there in that region. All right. You got Turkey and those other those other countries over there that fall up under Russia. All right. But the Lord is still against them damn devils, man, because those Russians are Edomites, man. So they're going to lose as well. Vladimir Putin and them, they finna lose too, man. We're not on their side. Now, verse 4, it says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. What does that mean? That means the Lord's going to bring them back into that warlike state. All right. He's preparing the Russians for war, man, to go up against America, Babylon the Great, and the state of Israel. You see, and they're going to have a great company with them. All right. These other nations who they're in league with, such as Iran. It goes on to name these nations too. It says Persia, right, which is Iran today, Ethiopia and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, meaning they're prepared for war. All right. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters and all his bands, right, which are all his armies, and many people with thee. So Turkey's going to be involved in this as well. And they have a pretty good military, man, from what I understand. All right. Verse 7. Let's check it out. Here's the point. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee. and be thou a guard unto them. You see, Russia's that guard unto these other nations, man, that were considered inferior. All right, you know, and Iran is a main ally of Russia, man, economically and militarily. I've done lessons on this, so you better believe that at some point in time, all right, the bear is going to get busy, and that bear being Russia. All right, and Vladimir Putin has been talking about hypersonic, nuclear missiles that are able to destroy the entire landmass of America. All right. This is all prophecy, man, and it's playing out. We got the understanding of what's going on, man, because everything that we're saying is coming to pass. I got a couple of more. We're going to get ready to wrap this thing up, but this is Isaiah 34 verse 16. All right, this came to mind right here. It says, seek ye out of the book of the Lord Yahawah. What's the book of the Lord, man? The Bible. All right. And read, no one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate, for my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. All right, so the book of the Lord, Yahawah, bahasham, is the scriptures, right? It says no one of these shall fail, meaning no one of the prophecies that are written within the scriptures are going to fail. So, World War III, the nuclear destruction, the war in which the earth is going to reel to and fro like a drunkard. All right, the earth is going to be knocked off of its axis, due to the nuclear missiles pelting this place, which is the anger of the Lord. All right, it's going to happen. And we're edging closer and closer to it every day that goes by. All right. You see, and like I said, YAHAWASHI is going to return in the midst of all that chaos and turmoil. When World War III heats up to a nuclear level, that's when YAHAWASHI is going to be here. And we're going to be saved, to be called up, to be changed out of these vile bodies finally, and be brought back to that godly estate underneath the second covenant, which is only for the Israelites, man. All right. And the elect on this side at that. Okay, but yeah, man, no one of these prophecies are going to fail. All right, and there's no book that you can mate with this Bible. That's why it says none shall want her mate. There's no other religion out there that could hold a candle to what's going on here in these scriptures, because these scriptures are really, truly the words of Yahawah bahasham, and it's being made evident. All right, by the true prophets. We're letting you know, and it's happening just as it's written. Okay, so ain't no damn Muslims or Hindu or whatever other false religion. They can't tell you what's going on, man. They can't tell you why things are happening the way they're happening, what's going to happen before it does happen. Only the true prophets of Yahawah bahasham are able to do that, man, by the Holy Spirit. So, anyway, matter of fact, I want to go back to that Joel real quick. Oh, and really quick, I'll make another point. Which says no one of these shall fail. The main prophecy that we're looking forward to seeing take place is what? The RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast being brought forth. Because a nuclear destruction can't happen until the hour of temptation comes upon all the world to try them. All right? The time in which these devils bring forth the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, to be used for identification and everything else, man, to buy and sell. All right? Cash will be obsolete. Your credit cards will be obsolete, and they're going to bring forth this new system. And I want to make a point too as well, that this whole turmoil that we're seeing right now could lead to something taking place, whether it's staged or whatnot, or organic. Something could take place, a major attack could happen, into which they say, all right, we don't have to have everybody identify themselves via our new system. All right. You see, your social security number is going to be on here, and everything else, your complete identity, all right, will be on this microchip, so that we can authenticate everybody, within this country. They're gonna do that, man, because it's prophesied to happen. Revelation 13 verse 16 on down could be right around the corner. Okay, a T attack can happen in which everybody has to identify themselves in a more secure, quote unquote, system. You see what I'm getting at here? All right, so back to the third chapter, we left off at verse 7, so we're on verse 8, and it says, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord Yahawah bahasham hath spoken it. When the Lord says it, it's already done. All right, we're going to be selling them, for bargaining chips and whatnot, because we're going to own these damn devils as slaves in our kingdom. Verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. That's happening. All right. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And that's what's going on, man. All right. They're getting their countries ready for war, man. They're putting their money and their resources into World War III. All right. They're using that money that they put into entertainment or agriculture or whatever, and they're gearing the majority of that money towards developing weapons and things that pertain to war. Okay. And it says, let the weak say I'm strong. These other weaker nations are now boasting against America. A lot of these nations didn't have nuclear missiles in times past, but now, that's the big threat. They're afraid of Iran developing nukes, which they probably already have, That's just me speaking as a man. But their main, reason for attacking them, what they're saying is because they're scared that they're going to develop nuclear missiles and destroy the state of Israel. So the weak are saying they're strong, man. These other nations that were in times past, not considered a factor are a major factor now. Verse 11, it says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahawah, bahasham YAHAWASHI. And the Lord's mighty ones are the angels, man. We're going to be seeing divine intervention taking place in the times we're coming into, man. All right, we're going to see the angels manifesting themselves in those so-called UFOs. It's going to be the war to end all wars, man. It's going to get very spiritual out here. All right, you're going to have angels defending the elect. All right. I'll tell you about that in Daniel 12, verse 1. Psalms 34 and verse 7. Now, verse 12, it says, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of YAHAWASHI, or the valley of the Lord's judgment. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. All you heathen, you damn so-called Chinese, you Moabites, you so-called Japanese, which are the Ammonites, you Ishmaelites, are you Arabs, you Hamites, you doodle-eating Africans. All right, all you nations that are against the nation of Israel, which is, all the heathen nations, you get ready to be judged, man. We're in that time. The Lord is going to cut you heathen all the way down. This is the time in which you go down, especially you goddamn devils. All right. Though you don't think you're going to be taken down, you will, according to prophecy. All right. Verse 13, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe, man. It's time. All right. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. All right, now check this out. Here's the point I want to make right here in Joel 3. It says, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord Yahawah, bahasham YAHAWASHI, is near in the valley of decision. Now that's talking about over there in the Middle East. All right. It says multitudes, meaning many military personnel going to be gathered over there, man, to fight this world's war. All right. You see, and many men are going to die in this war that we're coming into, man. A lot of you heathen are going to perish in the time we're coming into, man. And like I said, eventually, in the midst of it, YAHAWASHI is going to return. All right. And that's when the war of heaven is going to take place, or the war in heaven, in which these militaries are going to actually try to fight against the Lord YAHAWASHI and be destroyed. All right. So just understand that, man. All of you jakes that are in the military, understand what's at stake here. Because when you sign up to fight for Esau, you're really signing up to fight against the Lord Yahweh bahasham YAHAWASHI and the host of heaven. All right. And you're not going to win. So when they bring this draft, which they probably will here, in the near future, we're praying that the Lord gets us out of it, man. And he's going to do different things, and work different miracles for brothers to escape the draft. And I've had dreams on this, man. I've done lessons on some of the dreams I've had where it comes to Jake getting out of the draft, man. The Lord working miracles to get Jake out of that situation. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to end this lesson. I'm going to continue to watch, this situation that's going on with Iran and the state of Israel, because it just shows you that the Lord is wrapping this thing up, man. All right. Look for a major event to take place in which they bring forth the RFID microchip, the mark of the beast, spoken of in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 on down. All right. So I'm in this lesson right here. All right. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, bahasham, Rakha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of Yahawah, bahasham YAHAWASHI. Hey, keep the faith, Akim. Hold on, man. The Lord's finna bring an end to our oppression, man. All right. He's going to bring us into the kingdom, man. Through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom of the Most High. All right. Keep the faith. Call me Yasharala in the Bible bar. Shalom.